I'm not sure we can put you guys together because you're part of the ROC. You're wild.
Let's just go with that. It's well understood that BYU student section is among the best in America, both at LaVell Edwards Stadium and at the Marriott Center. They call themselves the ROC, which is short for Roar of Cougars, right? Roar of Cougars?
Yeah.
Our next guests, co-presidents of the ROC, Olivia Allen and Gibson Bailey. Olivia, where are you from?
I'm from Harriman, Utah.
Harriman, Utah.
Yeah.
And I'm from Ogden, Utah.
Let's get that microphone up. You're from?
Ogden.
There we go.
Ogden. Did you go to Ogden High?
No, I went to Weber High.
Weber High.
So you're from North Ogden.
Yeah,
Are you from
North
Pleasant View?
I'm from North Ogden.
So North Ogden.
Harriman High School?
I went to Harriman for a year and then Mountain Ridge for 2 years.
Mountain Ridge.
Yeah.
Very good.
I got a nephew that coaches football out at Mountain Ridge.
Okay, cool.
So he's all in on the green. What are they, the Knights?
Sentinels.
The Sentinels.
Yeah.
I should know that.
What's a
I should know
sentinel? Is that a person that guards the
Yeah,
door?
it's literally just a person who stands guard. So,
Okay, so
yeah.
sentinels. Well, they stand guard.
Yeah.
What are we? We were the Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors.
So the Warriors.
How does
That's right.
one become the co-president of the ROC?
Well,
How'd that happen?
we both started on the board. So there's the ROC board, and it's just the people behind the student section who run everything.
How
right?
many are on the ROC board?
It depends on the year. Normally about 20 people. That's how many people it takes to run a football game and a basketball game. So
Okay.
that's where our number is. And we were both on the board for 2 years, and then the job for president opened, and we both applied, and we got super lucky.
So do you interview? Do
Yeah.
you apply? And who votes on this? Or do the advisors from BYU decide based on the applications from somebody on the board who's going to get in? How does that work?
They pretty much open up interviews to ROC board members and marketing assistants. I think they open up to everyone, but they kind of keep it. I don't know where they post it. We heard about it just from being on the ROC, and then we interviewed with David Almadova and Anna Metcalf, and they just kind of
They decided that you guys were in.
That you guys could help carry the torch and keep this game day experience where it should be, right?
How do students join the ROC?
That's a really good question. So there's two parts. So there's the ROC board, and that's open to people to apply on social media. But to be a part of the ROC, the student section, any student can be a part of it. And you just buy a ROC pass and you come stand in the section during a game. So there's not really anything crazy you have to go through. You just have to come be a fan.
So there's 36,000 students, right? So not
Yeah.
everyone can get a ROC pass.
How many ROC
that
passes
fill
are
half the
available?
stadium.
We actually are never told the number of how many ROC passes
Yeah.
are available. We're just told when we reach our cap. And so our job is to advertise until they tell us that we're done advertising.
Okay.
So can we know the BYU students? Any BYU student can go for a ROC pass and come. Can UVU students also? Can Utah Valley students also come and be part of the ROC?
we used to.
They
have
used to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there used to be a guest pass system, but they got rid of it a few years ago, so now it's only BYU students. Or they have like a spousal pass, so if you're married to a BYU student, you can get in as well.
Yeah, basically what happened is the ROC got such national attention that more BYU students wanted to be a part of it. So
Right.
it didn't seem like necessarily fair to have other people come in that weren't BYU students. So
Right.
we had to open it only to BYU students because that's just who wanted to be in, and we could fill up so quickly with that's where we are.
I remember initially it was, hey, let's do this. Now we got to get the students to, one, sit by each other because it used to be
Yeah.
spread out. And now I think they've got it figured out to where it works. So when it comes to game time, the ROC feels very much a part of the event. So you guys are up in the stands. Your peers or colleagues are down wearing the uniforms and playing in the band and the cheerleaders and whatever. How does it connect everybody? How does the ROC connect with what's going on in the actual game? What is it? Is it just the camaraderie? What makes you guys a weapon for them down on the field?
I think students have a lot of pride in their school, right? So we come in, we go to BYU, we're in the classes, we're in the trenches with the other athletes, so we kind of relate to them on that level, which makes us want to cheer for them. But being a student, I think that what we have to focus on isn't as much as other people. We don't have the same worries as other people, so we come and we have that time to devote to a game and just be crazy and get so hype with everybody that it excites the student athletes, and then it excites the family and fans around. Like, I see my mom at games go crazy when she sees the student section go crazy because like that's her cue. And so it's really fun to like watch that happen, like the student section ignite the rest of the stadium.
That's Olivia Allen and Gibson Bailey, co-presidents of the ROC on the Wise Guys, presented by Brady Plus with us tonight. So we've seen the ROC make a difference. You heard us. You were in the green room. We were talking to David Almadova about that Arizona State game. 16 penalties on Arizona State, 4 false starts on 1 drive.
Yeah.
Were you both at that game?
I was.
You were at that
You were
game?
there?
Were you at that game?
I was on my mission.
All right.
It was an
happens.
environment like no other. The Sun Devils couldn't hear themselves think. First of all, tell us about what that was like to be in that student section that time. Then I have a follow-up to that.
Yeah. So you have to remember that it came the week after we beat Utah for the first time in like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
So we were already on like a high. And so then everybody comes back like, okay, like we're actually going to do something. And like we saw how that game went. So people just came with energy. And as a board, it was so hard to, when we were planning, we were like, how could we ever top the Utah game home opener? Like it was crazy, like truly crazy. And then it just, everybody was loud and everybody showed up and it was just insane. Like you couldn't even hear the people you were standing next to having conversations with them. And so for me, like it was just like, it was almost like a spiritual experience, how loud it was in the stadium, like penalty after penalty. And after that game, we kind of coined the phrase, the ROC Effect.
Yeah.
Because it's the effect that the ROC has on the game. And that's been fun for us to say from the past like 3 years, because like the ROC does have an effect on games in all sports.
What is
Yes,
it like
does.
when you see the players turn around and point at you guys like, hey, nice job, you're part of this?
I mean, it's a great feeling. The point of the ROC is to help our student athletes perform well, right? And so when they turn around and point at us and kind of recognize us, we're like, yeah, we're doing our job. It's awesome. So
my follow-up question to all that is, as a board, do you get together and do you brainstorm about how, as the ROC, as a student section, can we impact this game? Or how can we have a bigger impact this year? Do you actually think through strategies and then implement those?
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. We always are, like, pretty much after every game we get together, we have a meeting and we just kind of talk about, okay, what went well and maybe what are some things we can do better to even like make it louder. And we're always thinking of new ways to get the students excited during games, or new ways that we can be louder, and just trying to come up with new stuff. We have some marketing or like some ROC assistant positions, and we have a guy that it's literally his whole job is just to figure out how to make the in-game experience better for the students.
So how do you, what's one of an idea where it's like, hey, I know how we can get louder? What besides put microphones and all that stuff, what?
One thing we've talked a lot about this year is people are always really excited at the beginning of the game and like third quarter break. I heard you guys talking about that earlier with like turbulence, the Y clap. But like we want people to be like on their feet from the start of the game to the end of the game. And so this year we're trying to implement more of a pregame party for the student section so that they're already excited and already ready to go right when it starts, and that energy will carry over. Because a lot of times us as students, we're in the stadium 3 hours early, which is a long time to just sit in the heat and just wait and do like nothing. So one thing we focused on this year is how can we make the experience better for the students? How can we get them so excited that they won't sit down the whole game?
And I think you work in concert with the band, because the band has a lot to do with that. And it seems like, are they part of the committee? Do they meet with the ROC? And is it like, okay, we need the band to do this more often?
That's our boss. She meets with them.
She meets with the band? Someone's got to meet with the band, right? I mean, they're an army as well, and it just seems like everyone's kind of on the same page over there. So when you, like it's been the long off season, have you come up with some new ideas that we're going to see as to how to cause more disruption from the ROC? You got a couple of nuggets you want to share?
I think sometimes, like, between year to year, like, we come up with a good idea and then we, like, the next year happens and we all forget about it. We kind of lose the idea.
Yeah.
And so something that we're trying to do is we're looking back through, like, all the years and all the things that we've done and kind of, like, figuring those out, and then, like, almost like writing them down, and, like, we're going to try to, like, distribute them to the ROC and be like, okay, this is all the stuff that we do all the time, so that nothing kind of gets lost. As well as, like, just encouraging them. Like, we were at a women's soccer game earlier this week. They had, like, their exhibition home opener. And we were just like, hey, like, last year we started doing all these chants and all these cheers. And literally, like, any cheer or chant that you guys want to come up with, like, let us know. We'll test it out. We'll see how it goes. Like, just start singing, and we'll see how it goes. And if it sticks, it sticks. And so we're, like, the idea is to also encourage the students to come up with their own stuff. Because it's fun. Like, there's only 20 of us. But if, like, 10,000 students are all thinking of a way that they can be louder, then we're always going to come up with great ideas.
All right, here's a follow-up to that. So let's go over to the Marriott Center for a minute, where things go up a notch. All those things that you're waving in front of a free throw shooter on that end of the floor. Who's come up with all that stuff? Is that the board and just going, hey, it would be fun to have a big giant head of somebody that I can wave around?
Yeah, it's been going on over the past few years, just collecting ideas. And the idea is like there can't be too much craziness behind the free throw shooter. Over the past few years, we've added like the people with like the crisscrossy things. What are those called? The banners. The banners, yeah.
What are these? The
flappies.
Things?
Yeah.
What are those called?
We named them rock, paper, scissors because we're the rock and then they're like paper, scissors. But they're
so
just
their names are paper and scissors?
Yeah.
Nice.
So they're just to distract people, but it's fun because anybody who has an idea can DM us on social media and say, I really think this meme would be good, and we can make it. As long as it gets approval, we can make it. But then we get to distribute it and people get to hold it up, which really makes people feel more involved, and they have to pay attention more because they can't miss their cue to hold up a sign. So it's really fun.
When that rock, paper, scissors thing gets going, and you sit there and go, how is that even legal? Do you ever get told by the officials, hey, take that thing down?
We haven't.
Yeah, good.
We just keep it. We try and make it. It doesn't flop forward or like touch
it has to
anything.
stay in
Yeah,
the
it just has to
stands.
stay back, and it's fine.
And the number of support that the teams shoot, they're not as good in the second half shooting into the student section, either shooting from the field, especially from the free throw line, as they are shooting on the
It's
other
the
end.
ROC effect.
Oh, yeah.
It's the ROC effect.
Absolutely.
For
And
sure.
soccer, the team's always talking about the energy they get from the ROC at Southfield, and we know that volleyball's, that's second to none.
Yeah.
Is it kind of fun to have a group it's BYU against this team and the ROC? There are three units involved in all these events.
Yeah, it's unreal to be a part of a student section like the ROC because you truly come and you feel like you belong because everybody has like the same goal, which is like to mess up the other team and to win, obviously. But it's really fun because you stand by people you don't know and you leave friends with them. Like I've gotten my best friends from the student section because you're so invested in like the same outcome that all of a sudden you're like, okay, when are you going to the next game? Because you were really fun to stand next to.
People meet their spouses in the ROC.
So here's a tough one for you. So our old nemesis from up north are coming into the league with us in the Big 12, and they have what they think is a really good student section in the MUS. So is this a challenge to see who can be better? Do you take great pride in that the ROC can be better than the MUS? Is that like personal?
Absolutely.
Olivia was trying to think how to be politically correct, and Gibbs is like, yeah, absolutely.
going
We
right
take it
for it.
personal.
Something that I love about the ROC, and I just think like we're more than just a good student section, or I would say great student section at football and basketball games, but we go to every single sporting event, and we're a great student section everywhere. I don't know if you guys went to any of like the gymnastics meets this last year, but literally like we had our own student section and we were able to run the turbulence flag during like one of the breaks because there were just so many students at a gymnastics meet, and so I think we take a lot of pride in like we really are the greatest student section in the country, and yeah, Utah's coming in. It doesn't scare me because I'm like, yeah, we can take them.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I like it. They can take them.
The Marriott Center ROC will be ready for
Yes, they'll be
Oh
ready.
yes.
Yeah.
What do you think of this upcoming football season? We have analysts on here all the time, and now the two
but
of
you guys
are.
have watched a lot of games
All
from
right,
up
Les.
close, right?
Yeah.
So,
What are you thinking for year 2 in the Big 12?
I'm excited. I missed the first half of the season last year on my mission, and that was the worst FOMO I had, like with the Big 12. And so I'm really excited to see how this season goes. Our office overlooks the practice field, and we see them out there working literally all the time, like all the times we're working. So I'm really excited to see what they've put together. We're obviously optimistic, and we know we can get a student section there, so we're ready to do our part.
Yeah, I'm always super pumped. Like August hits and I just get really thrilled. I think like the last few days I've just been watching all the highlights. I watched like the Arkansas cut the other day just because I like needed to get pumped up a little more, and so I'm just getting, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great year, and we're excited for the students to come and cheer loud. So.
Dave and I really appreciate the ROC because you guys help us with our show, our game day show that we do, a 2-hour show. The ROC, we have a deal with the ROC where we provide breakfast or dinner or whatever is the meal before the game, if it's a night game, and you send a whole crew out to us, and they're part of our game day show, and then they get to go in, and there's reserved seats for them in the ROC for coming out and helping on the show.
There's a prize for standing in the sun and joining us for those for the hour out in Cougar Canyon, and
It really
they bring energy to us.
It helps. It helps the energy of our show and brings a lot to our show. Do students volunteer to come and do that? I don't even know how that works. How do we decide who gets to come from the ROC and do that?
Yeah, so in the past, they call it Blue Crew, and they send out emails just saying, hey, like, if you want to come be a part of Blue Crew, claim your ticket. You'll get a seat, you'll get food, you'll get some merch sometimes. And so, I mean, as far as I'm aware, it's filled up pretty quickly every single time, because who doesn't want to be a part of a game day show? Like, that's so cool. It helps students feel more involved, and it saves them from sitting in the stadium for 3 hours.
that
So I
it
think
does.
it is
And we always
quite nice.
we always take 3 or 4 or 5. And we make them part of our demo out on the field. So they also
Yeah.
get to be
Oh,
on
for
national
sure.
They get it,
television.
put their
actually
signs
global
up.
television.
Yeah.
If they got a good sign,
Yeah,
that
we'll
gets
pick out
on
their
TV.
sign. So
How has the ROC influenced unity among the students across campus, not just in the major venues? Have you noticed that? Does it help?
Yeah, I think it absolutely does. I think people are moving away like far from home, and they're starting like when they go to college, like it's kind of a new start. You know, they're leaving their parents for the first time, and I think just being able to come to BYU and join the ROC, it like kind of gives them a community. Like, okay, this is what I do. I go to the games, I meet new people, you make friends there, and I think it just kind of brings all the students together. We all, like Olivia said earlier, we all have one goal, which is to help our team win and to cheer loud. And so kind of when we're all there together, I think it helps people, you know, feel more comfortable and more excited. So
Yeah.
we got some questions in the
I was
chat
just
forum.
reading some.
So first of all, John Wynn said, "Go Olivia."
Yeah,
So do
He
you know
also
John?
said, make the Macarena a regular
Regular
dance.
dancing.
They're not all great
Yeah. Oh,
ideas.
for sure.
So they're not all greatest. Joel Campbell says, "Hey, can you guys push to get the ROC back on the floor behind the service line for volleyball? That needs to happen."
I agree. I wish that was my call.
Let's see. What about tortillas? Throwing tortillas after a touchdown like they did in the 80s?
That was because we're trying to
There's
get
an
the
idea
fans
from
involved.
Larry.
And so somebody said, "How about getting the other end of the court or the end zone on the other side doing more?"
You know, we actually started doing more with the other side of the end zone at football last year. It took a lot of coordination, but we set up the third quarter when we do the flag.
Yeah.
We set up a flag on the north end zone, and I'm not sure, but I think that's in the works again, just to try and get people
you
more
go.
involved. So
There's your answer, Robert.
They got the cannon down there, but
Yeah. So
All right, are you guys ready for 5 questions?
Yeah.
yes,
sure.
This will be.
So what we'll do is, like, Olivia will go first on the first one, and then Gibson go first on the second one. Is that fair? So your favorite sports movie, Olivia?
I love The Blind Side, and I love Coach Carter.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Blindside and Coach Carter.
Yeah. Okay. Gibson, what about you?
My favorite is Glory Road.
oh, classic.
Oh, that's a good one.
Road.
That's a good one. So, okay, your favorite singer or band? Yours first.
It changes a lot, but I would say like right now in this moment, it's probably Zach Bryan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zach Bryan.
He's big right now. So, how about you, Liv?
I love Taylor Swift.
There's
Yeah.
no crime in that.
Hey,
No?
there wasn't any crime in a few years ago, but it's getting a little more.
No, Dave and I acknowledge how unbelievably talented she is. Like,
Good,
it's crazy.
good.
And
I'm
she's a
glad.
great
We got her
performer.
songs on our phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll admit that.
Yeah.
We're not battling.
Did you
on that
see one of her concerts?
No, but I watched the Disney Plus version, and that was very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My granddaughters with my son and daughter were in France, and she happened to be there, and they went
Oh
to
my
the concert
goodness.
in Paris.
What a dream.
Yeah.
Oh,
They just
so
tell me
cool.
all about it. They
Yeah.
tell me all about it. So, all right. Let's see who's up. Liv's up.
Olivia.
Yes.
Olivia. Do you just go by Olivia? Do you go by Liv? Do you go by
I go by anything.
do people call you Liv?
Yeah.
I don't know why I just want to call you Liv, but
Oh, it's easier. Go
so
for it.
okay.
All right.
You're
Liv.
up though, Liv.
Yeah. What? Oh, for what?
Favorite breakfast cereal?
Oh.
Please
Cookie-
don't say plain Captain Crunch.
No, Cookie Crisp.
Cookie Crisp.
That's old school.
I know. I love
Cookie
it.
Crisp.
Actually,
So good.
much respect for that one. Much respect.
So here's the thing with Cookie Crisp. It's fine and good. I have no knocks on it, but it's like, but if you're gonna have, I'd just rather get a bag of Oreos and some
That's
milk.
true. That's true. There's just something about the mini cookies that are so cute.
Yes.
With like the little chocolate chips. I just love it.
Yeah, I'm saying there's no knock on that.
That's pretty good. How about you, Gibson?
I love Reese's Puffs.
Reese's Puffs.
Reese's Puffs. We've had that one before.
Yeah.
And does everybody just call you Gibson, or do they
Call you
What do
Gib.
they call him? They call him Gib. What do they call him?
It's actually funny. So Olivia just got married, and her husband's name is Gibson.
Yeah.
And so everyone calls me Gibby because it just helps.
It helps
you
me keep
separate
them
them.
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so your husband's Gibson.
Yes.
He's Gibby.
Yeah, and that's how I keep them straight in my phone and when I talk to people, and it's just good, you know?
I have a
Okay.
dear friend
All right.
that I
We
play
can do
golf. That I
that.
used to play golf with a bunch, and we go call him Gibby.
Yeah.
So, all right, and it's your turn, Gibson. Gibby, favorite rock moment. This is a big one.
Dang, that's a tough question. There's so many I have to think.
You know, we don't really have any music. Jeopardy. We need Jeopardy music or something.
for Gibby.
I think the first one that comes to mind, my first football game back from my mission, we played Baylor, and that game was also
off the hook.
I
So
heard that one was
huge.
crazy.
Baylor, the U of U, and Arizona State are
yeah.
my three favorites
Oh,
in
for
recent times.
Yeah.
And so, that was just an amazing game. I watched a BYU football game in 2 years, and it was just crazy to go to that. And
Where
so-
did you
Were you
serve?
in the Rock?
Yeah, and I was a part of the Rock Board then,
Okay.
so I was there. And
Nice.
Yeah, where did you serve?
I served a year in Colorado in the Denver South Mission, and then a year in Brazil.
So did you come right back from Brazil to that Baylor game?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was crazy.
man.
Nice.
Okay, how about you?
Where did you serve?
I served in Arcadia, California.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you came from Arcadia.
Oh, yeah.
But what about your favorite rock moment?
Oh, for sure, the BYU Utah game. That was my first game as a freshman, and I couldn't have asked for a better game.
Did you
To
charge
start.
the field?
Oh yeah, 100%. Best night ever.
And do you agree with everybody that BYU manhandled Utah in that game?
Oh my gosh, yes. It was incredible. They literally just, it was so good. It was from the start too. It wasn't like we were scared. They just took care of business.
And the day before, they were invited to the Big 12. So, I mean, it couldn't have been a bigger weekend.
It was a
Yeah.
big weekend.
And then to have the Utes, and that was something else.
Chill.
Okay, Liv's going to lead off taking us home. And it's your favorite thing about Kalani Sitake.
I love his energy. Just watching him on the sideline dancing and having fun. He is 100% one of the main reasons we are so hyped as a student section, because he talks about us, he gives us credit, and he makes people feel so hyped to be a part of the student section. So looking over at him, he's a good leader for our student section,
Yeah.
honestly.
Do you expect any new dance moves from
Always.
the coach? He's got to come in with something
He always
new.
tells us he's going to break something new out.
Anytime there's a trendy dance move, the next if it's trending on TikTok, the next game he'll walk in doing the dance, and we're you learned that quicker than we did. That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, his daughters are good dancers. Sadie's a good dancer, and have you ever seen him? He's done some TikTok videos
I haven't
dancing.
seen him. No.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
check those out.
you have to go
We
search
gotta
those
get
out.
one of
He's a
him
good
on the
sport.
Rock page. That's what we need
He's
to do.
a really good
Yes.
sport. He's a really good sport. So, okay, Gibby, what is it?
I
Your
just
favorite
love
thing about Kalani?
BYU is just it's such a unique university, right? And we're so focused on more than just teaching students, but actually helping them to become better people and disciples of Jesus Christ. And I love that. I feel like Kalani Sitake embraces that. He's more than just of course he wants to win football games, but he inspires his players to be better. And I think that inspires all of us to be better as well. When I hear the way he talks, I'm yeah, I want to be a better person, because he's just such a great leader. So.
Awesome.
That's great.
So
That's a
look, we've got a favor to ask. So we're going to send you a clip of our interview. Will you put it on your Rock page?
I think so.
Yeah, we can.
We
Get
can
it
ask
on
our
there?
social media manager.
Or take some clips out and
Oh,
say,
yeah.
hey, we were on the Wise Guys, and here's what we talked about.
How many continents are they in tonight? Do we know?
I don't know how many we're at.
Yeah, and then the podcast gets over 1 million impressions a month. So
Wow.
So we want you to know that we're full backers of the
Yeah.
Rock.
Oh, we
and
love
we're
it.
glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
exciting.
He's awesome. Thank you.
We'll see you in about,
2.5
less than
weeks?
3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. We're
Yeah.
excited.
Send us over a good crew for what do they call the
Blue Crew, yeah.
Send us a
Send
good
us a
blue
great
crew.
blue crew
Yeah.
for the
Oh,
opener.
we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we need it
Oh,
for
for
our
sure.
show. So
Thank you so much
thanks
for being
so much.
here on the show.
Liv and Gibby.
What
We'll
year
see-
of school are you?
That's a good question. I'm a sophomore-ish.
Ish, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a senior.
Give me,
Senior.
is
What are
this
you
your last
majoring
year
in?
at the Rock?
Yeah, it depends on how many credits I take these next
Okay.
two semesters.
You guys
We'll
can
see.
stretch it out a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have a major yet?
Yeah, I'm studying public health with an emphasis in epidemiology.
Okay. She's going to solve the problems of the world. No more COVID when she's done.
So,
Hopefully.
so depending on how fast the med school comes online at BYU, is that
Is
that a
avenue for
possibility?
you?
Oh, I would love to, but I don't know if it will be ready by the time I'm done. But we'll see.
And is the plan to go on to med school?
I would love to do anything: nursing school, medical school, PA school, anything in the medical field for us.
Very good. Very good.
Hey, you guys are the class of the 36,000 students over there. Thanks for coming
Thanks
to
for
the show.
coming on.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for joining,
guys.
guys.
All right, sweet. And you can just walk off. That's the beauty of this show.
Yeah, it's a casual
Gibson
environment.
and
right?
Olivia, they're the co-presidents of the Rock. And so when you get to the game on the 31st, or you watch it on TV, and the Rock will be front and center, these are the two ringleaders.
That's right.
and the board and all that stuff. And we thought, let's get them on the Wise Guys and give them a chance to explain a little bit about how the ROC works. A lot of people see the ROC, but they don't know exactly what it constitutes, and they have meetings during the week and how to get louder. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. And it's well known around the league and around the country. The home court environment in the Marriott Center and the home field environment at LaBelle Ridge Stadium, and a big part of that is because the ROC does such a phenomenal job.